Opposition leader Malcolm Turnbull has promised to keep agriculture out of the carbon emissions trading scheme and delay it until after the government's August 13 Senate vote. Mr Turnbull's commitment was given rousing applause on the final day of the New South Wales Farmers Association conference in Sydney.
As Prime Minister Kevin Rudd addressed Labor's national conference, opposition leader Malcolm Turnbull was wooing farmers, first highlighting his farming roots stretched back to 1802 and then telling them what they wanted to hear, an exit clause from the government's carbon emissions trading scheme.
Emissions arising from production in Australia's agricultural sector should be left out of the ETS. Agricultural emissions should be out.
While the latest news poll survey shows 45% of Australians want the Rudd government to delay finalising its carbon pollution reduction scheme until after the International Global Climate Change Conference in Copenhagen in December, the government is pushing for a Senate vote in August.
It is absurd for the Rudd government to proceed to design an emissions trading scheme which imposes heavier burdens on Australia's industry, heavier costs on Australian farmers and workers than comparable schemes do in other countries.
The Farmers Association has hailed its conference the biggest and most successful in a decade, today agreeing to a task force to tackle future support for the state's livestock health and pest authorities, lobby the state government for independent grazing trials and, in a first, establish a Young Farmers Council to recruit, mentor and support farmers under 35. The final night saw Michael O'Brien from Walgett take out Farmer of the Year. And a rare show of political camaraderie as state and federal politicians farewelled outgoing President Jock Laurie.
Jock, I hope you enjoy your retirement, riding in Lycra around the hills of Walker. I'm sure that's a great sight to see.
You're probably the only shore boy I know that could put together a sentence with words of more than 2 syllables, my son included.
Big Jock, for the last 4 years, has been doing precisely that, cutting through, strong representation, an absolute straight shooter.
I'm told that you're under very clear instructions not to go back to Tormund, the family farm just outside Armidale, and that your son Alexander is doing just fine without Dad breathing down his neck. So mate, all the very best for your future, and thanks again for your very hard work.
Marguerite McKinnon, Win News.